For almost 30 years, Outreach Project, a nonprofit organization, has been helping people struggling with alcohol and substance abuse turn their lives around. All outreach programs take a holistic, community-based approach that treats immediate problems and helps individuals face bigger challenges in life. We are dedicated to helping them rebuild their family, reestablish community ties, and find continued success in the future. The following video provides a better understanding of our adolescent residential services at Outreach House in Brentwood and Ridgewood, Queens. It tells the story of parents who've come to us for help and healing when their families were in crisis.
She became moody, but we kind of wrote that off to, well, she's a girl, she's going through a phase. Didn't really jump to this conclusion.
His grades were always high, honor roll student, and then he hit his first year of high school like a ton of bricks, and he was barely passing.
I took it very personally, that I can't believe that I have a son who's doing this. I'm a failure as a mother.
He was a star wrestler, and he stopped going to wrestling practice. He was the first chair for cello in the school orchestra. He stopped going to orchestra. He cut it for a whole month. All he cared about was getting high.
You couldn't leave anything out, he would steal it. He would watch my wife put the PIN number in for an ATM machine, and when she fell asleep, he'd take his ATM card and start withdrawing money all over the place. Till eventually he was breaking into homes and everything else.
His language was horrendously abusive, even around his younger siblings. It was almost like he was possessed.
I don't think any parent in the world, especially a mother, wants to admit that she can't help her own child. We think we can fix everything.
We had him going to the school psychologist, then private psychologist. After an overdose, which landed him in the hospital, we ended up getting him in a date program. That lasted all of about a week and a half when he decided that it wasn't for him, and he walked out of that and refused that.
I tried an outpatient program. He went there for a couple of days every week for a few weeks, and then they had recommended that he go to another residential facility, a short-term residential facility upstate. About 3 months after that, his habits changed back to the old habits.
We took him to an outpatient place. They tried to put him on a medication. The medication wasn't helping. We tried going to the state and the county for help, and they basically told us, well, we did away with our PINS program. All he's going to do now is see a family counselor. Well, we knew that wouldn't work because he fools everybody with what he has to say.
My son went to 6 different facilities, so we pretty much tried outpatient and, everything you could think of.
And it was a counselor who said, listen, call this one particular person, this is what your son needs. And from that moment on, it's been a blessing.
Decided to bring him here because 2-week programs, I don't think work very well.
He had a second overdose, ended up in the hospital again, and that's when we came across Outreach and got him in over here.
And then I asked the people at the outpatient program where my son was attending, and they also recommended Outreach. And just to be sure, I called another outpatient place, and they also recommended Outreach. So it was highly recommended.
He's going in with a problem, and I knew there were other children here with the same problem. Would that make it worse? Would it make it better? I didn't know.
Because I was concerned about, is he going to be safe here?
Kevin was a maniac the hours before he had to come here. I mean, literally a maniac. It was the first time we ever had the police involved in his life.
I've had people in my neighborhood that had their children in other facilities, and they came out worse than when they went in. And that's what I was worried about.
And then we pulled into the parking lot, and all of a sudden this sense of calm, I don't know what it was other than God just, put something in him.
You were comfortable that, that he wasn't running anywhere. He was where he needed to be and hopefully getting the help that he finally needed to get.
And we left him here, and I just said, please stick this out. And he said, Mom, I'm not leaving until I'm done. And that was the first good night's sleep I had had in 2 years, at least.
And with us, outreach was the only place that really worked for him. I couldn't believe how spotless it was, because my son had been in a lot of facilities, and it was unbelievable how spotless, clean. And the rooms, and they do take you on a tour, which they don't do in most of the other facilities. And the kitchen was spotless. The rooms were like going to a college dorm. Beautiful.
The decision was a lot easier after we came here for the interview. It really allayed a lot of our fears. We were taken around for a tour, and we felt 100%, better.
As we were in the room preparing to say goodbye to him, a couple of people ran by the door, and one of them backed up, also out of run, stuck her head in the door and said, "Hi, I'm Shanita B. I'm going to be your whatever," and ran off again. And it just seemed so real and so friendly and personable.
I know as a teacher that any program is only as good as the people who are delivering it. And I was just struck by the humanness of everyone on the staff. I knew that my son would be treated with respect and with kindness, and that was very important to me.
He was finally clean. And he's like, "I can't believe I threw this all away." He says, "I like being with my family. I had more fun with you people than with my friends getting high." But it took him that break in drugs to get clean to realize what he lost.
She finished 10th grade here over the summer, completed 11th while she was here, and then the day she graduated, she found out she was accepted into St. Francis Prep to finish up her 12th year, and she got into AP English. So, she went from a stoner to getting into AP classes.
When he started buying into the program, he started applying himself in school. Even before he was doing drugs, school was difficult, and they have small classes here and personal attention to the students, and I guess a good program. And Paul is doing very well.
With my son, he failed 10th grade 3 times. Had no desire to graduate. But because of outreach, he's now taking 12th grade classes, and he's already talking about going to college.
But if you're gonna struggle and you want to make your struggle worthwhile, this is the place to do it. You'll change your life, you'll change your child's life, and you'll get yourself and your family back.
I was excited when I saw an essay of his with 100 on it stuck to the wall upstairs. We've never seen that before.
And if it wasn't for this place, we would have probably enabled our son to death.
I thank God every day for outreach, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Every day was the only place that I feel that my son got the help that he needed. And everyone here, to me, are like angels. They're just godsends.
We know how tough it can be to bring a son or daughter to our doors, but it is here that they can receive the kind of comprehensive and compassionate care that can truly empower them to make better decisions and live responsibly, free of drug and alcohol abuse. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call us.